My name is Eric BINEY, and my supervisor is Prakash, Dr. Prakash, Assistant Professor in Delhi Technological University. I'm from the Department of Biotechnology at the same time, Delhi Technological University. My topic is assessing the nanoparticle reducing potentials of medicinal plants in Ghana. Good. So one may ask, where is Ghana? Ghana is located in West Africa, and it can be found in the along the coast of Gulf of Guinea, which is in the West Africa. It also has a population of 32,307,254 people. Now, introduction. Scientists have long been attracted by nanoparticles. When we say nanoparticle, we are just simply talking about a particle which ranges from 1 to 100 in nanometer, and they are now utilizing the assortment of discipline, including the medication and also designing of horticulture products. According to survey conducted by National Cancer Institute in the United States, in America, they also make a conclusion that 61% of 887 small molecules, novel chemical entities are also proved by medication, meaning that a lot of medicinals that are produced are also come from plants, as they say. And both tangible and chemical techniques can be used in synthesizing nanoparticles. This is where my concern lies most, because when you look at the nanoparticle that they are just coming out, they are just synthesizing, they are using the chemical part and then the physical part, forgetting of the biological aspect, which is more or less a straightforward experiment. But when you look at the chemical and then the physical aspect, they involve a lot of chemicals which are also harmful to the environment, and at the same time, living organisms which are also found in the environment. Then, if more attention must be concentrated on the medicinal plant, I think the environment is going to be safe, and at the same time, it's also going to boost our health system. Please, ma'am, can you move on? Please, can you change the slides for me? Okay, then Ghana is a home of 5% of West African species of plants, resulting to important supporters of global environment landscape. When you come to Ghana, we have a lot of medicinal plants, yet these medicinal plants are not being observed by scientists. They are not being motivated by scientists, because it's like they don't know the use of the medicinal plant. They don't know what the medicinal plant can be with us. But in most of medicinal plants contain several chemicals, which we normally call it secondary and primary metabolite. When we talk about secondary and primary metabolite, we are just talking about the phenolic compound, the beta carotene, the tannin, the saponins. All these chemicals come together to form the primary and the secondary metabolite. Despite the report comment by Ghana plant, particularly in home-growing medication, not most of these trees and shrubs have been investigated for honorable metallic nanoparticle. Like I did mention, their medicinal plants are there, but they don't know the use. They don't know what even to use it for, to boost the medical aspect or the diseases that we are battling nowadays. In these studies gives an outline of a couple of critical Ghanaian restorative plants that has been utilized in combination of metallic nanoparticle. The improved organic properties of biogenic metallic nanoparticle validate their uses of medicine. Despite the richness and anticipated benefits, plant interseed nanoparticles, Ghana reproductive plants, are still underutilized by nanoparticle synthesis. You know, the plants are still there, but they are still there. They have their underutilized species. They are not being used by the system. They are not being used by the scientists. They are not being used by the people who are more educated. It's only the traditional people. They are rather making use of these medicinal plants. But if a traditional healer is using this medicinal plant, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't motivate the world. It doesn't say anything to the world, because this traditional healer doesn't know the experimental method that he has to use to get the actual thing that he's looking for. They do anything by themselves, more or less try your luck, and at the end of the day, causing more harm to their customers. Now, when you look at the screen, you can see various pictures of some of the medicinal plants that can be found in Ghana. And it has been arranged respectively to their name. We have the Pachyia biblicosa being the first picture. We have the neem tree. We have the Momodica. We have the Gracitimum. And then we have the Solanum tovum. We have the papaya leaves and many more. Yes, ma'am. Now we have several nanoparticles when you come to nanotechnology. We have the silver nanoparticle, we have the gold nanoparticle, we have the metallic nanoparticle. But in particular, I want to talk about gold nanoparticle because when you talk about gold nanoparticle has some features that is being used in the drug delivery. Because gold nanoparticle has the uses of drug that can be used as a drug delivery, bioimaging, contrast, and also photothermal and anti-angiogenic agents. So when you look at gold nanoparticle has some features that feature in the medication preparation. That's why I concentrate more on the gold nanoparticle than the rest of the nanoparticle that we have. Now, when we talk of the nanoparticles are something that you cannot be seen with your eye, like I did mention earlier, that it ranges from 1 to 100 nanometer. And they are of different sizes and different shapes. When you look at the picture on your right-hand side, you can see that they are of different shapes, different colors, and then their structures are not also the same. That makes it so unique about this nanoparticle I'm talking about. Now, before I conclude with the research, I have some questions I was asking myself during the project, because there was one question I was asking: what is the profile of the major phytochemical, the metallic nanoparticle, the nanoparticle size, and then the nanoparticle bioactive in the medicinal plant? Every plant has its bioactive compound or something, and then with this bioactive compound, it can be either inflammatory, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer. These are all bioactive compounds that can be found in some plants. Then I also came across this synthesis procedure that I use in medicinal plants using nanotechnology. You know, they have several methods of synthesizing nanoparticles from a plant or from a medicinal plant, like I did mention. We have the physical, we have the chemical, and we have the biological. But the biological has been sabotaged in such a way that they don't want to go there. They don't want to use that method, which is a simple method in synthesizing nanoparticles. And also, what are some of the therapeutic plants in Ghana? Then we have the main research objectives to identify the profile of major phytochemical metallic compound and also the nanoparticle size. Also to synthesize the medicinal plant using nanotechnology, determine the natural utilization of some therapeutic plants in Ghana. Now, these are the proposed method I came across when I wanted to do my project, because in this method, you realize that we have physical, we have chemical, and the biological aspect being in the middle. But this physical and chemical aspect, when you look at the physical aspect, these are the procedures they use in synthesizing nanoparticles. They have the electrochemical, the ultrasonic, you have the evaporation, you have the irradiation. These are all heavy machines that are used in synthesizing nanoparticles. And these heavy machines cause a lot of harm in our environment, cause a lot of time in processing this nanosynthesis medicinal plants. And when you look at the chemical aspect, the same thing also goes on there. Etching, mechanical milling, thermal decomposition, they are all heavy machines that goes into synthesis of nanoparticles. But when you look at the biological aspect, you have the plant. After that, we have the green synthesis. When you talk about green synthesis, just simple of the plant. Then from the plant, you can use any part of the plant in synthesis your nanoparticle. It can be the leaves, it can be the roots, it can be the flowers or the fruits. And this method is so simple that it is simple, it is less expensive, and also less time in just synthesis your nanoparticle. And it's a straightforward experiment. It doesn't need any heavy machines to come along with or to come across with. And I think when we are able to make use of this method, I think it's going to boost our our health system in such a way that you don't need any sophisticated machines in synthesizing nanoparticle, but just a straightforward experiment. Now, you have some methods that are used in synthesis nanoparticles. Like I did mention earlier, these are the pictures of the plant part that has been used or that can be used in the nanosynthesis. We have the leaves, we have the fruits, any part of the fruit can be used. It can be used by the seed, and also the stem bark can also be used. Because of the toxicity and the cost taking part in this use of nanoparticle synthesis, method of physical and chemical nature, scientists have begun to employ biological techniques because they have realized that now it has a lot of harm in the environment. They are now trying to back up with the biological aspect, as I'm saying. Now, this is a reaction mechanism for a silver nanoparticle, a silver nitrate nanoparticle. Now, when you look at the plant side, we have the roots, we have the stem, we have the leaves. Now, all these plants combined, they give us the secondary and then the primary metabolite. Now, once they contain the secondary and the primary metabolite, then they are able to reduce or stabilize the nanoparticles in the plant. Now, when you look at the silver nitrate, because it contains, the plant contains primary and secondary metabolite, at the end of the day, it's able to reduce the oxygen that is attached to the silver. Then at the end of the day, it reduces it and eliminates the oxygen from there. Now, when the plant and then the silver nitrate combine, you see that the chemical that comes out from the plant will change. But when you see the change in the chemical or the liquid that come out from the plant, then there's a formation telling you that the nanoparticle, the silver nanoparticle is present. Then from there, you realize that the silver nanoparticles are in single shapes and different. So at the end of the day, you realize that. Okay, ma'am. So these are some of the plants that have been selected and that has been worked on so far. When you look at the Parkia bulbosa, they have different ranges of nanoparticles. At the same time, they have different antimicrobial activity, as I'm saying. So these are first table of some of the medicinal plants and their major phytochemicals. Please, ma'am, the same thing applies to this table. But when you look at Ocimum gratissimum, this plant has never been worked on, but way back in Ghana, I know much about this plant that anyone that comes across this plant know the uses, but yet scientists have ignored this plant standing idle. The same thing applies to the Aconia cordifolia. They are all medicinal plants that can be used, and none of its parts is not being ignored. All the parts of this plant are useful to human. So I think as time goes on, more attention is going to be paid on these two particular plants that have that their nanoparticle has not been come across with, and the same applies to their nanoparticle size. Now, in conclusion, and then future scope. Therefore, it is recommended that considerable effort need to be devoted towards assessing the efficacy and then the safety of this natural nanoparticles formulation. Then, more importantly, detailed description, method of the synthesis, purification, exact composition of the nanoparticle formulation, as well as the dosage, should be strictly be provided to allow for its productivity. Then, for the first time, Parkia bulbosa leaf extracts, mediated gold nanoparticle, has been synthesized and explored in their antimicrobial potential. The study also depicts that the use of plants and plant parts are potent for the reduction of bulk metal to obtain their inorganic nanoparticles form. Also, as synthesized by the gold nanoparticle formulation, prove the potent of the improved drug efficacy of a standard antibiotics. These are some of the reference I gave when doing the DPT. Thank you very much.